Now, onto more places where we like to relax: restaurants, bars, and hotels. Our next conversation revolves around the dynamic relationship between designers and makers who furnish these spaces. Tina Norden is the managing partner of Conrad & Partners, the renowned architecture and interior design practice founded by Sir Terence Conrad. Daisuke Hironaka, CEO of Stella Works, heads up an international brand known for their contemporary high-end furniture. They discuss how they collaborate under time and budget constraints in the fast-paced hospitality industry and provide customization at scale to make their environments feel distinct, elegant, and evocative. Please welcome Tina, Daisuke, and Tony Chambers for this session.
Please join us. Hello again, everybody. I hope you're enjoying the sessions so far. We have a great one now. Customization at scale in the hospitality industry. So I know we're all very familiar with enjoying the benefits of well-designed hotels, restaurants, and bars, but we're going to dig into the making of such places and the complicated and nuanced industry that makes up that great industry. We are joined by Tina and Daisuke, and I thought it would be useful if we start with an introduction to both of your companies, your businesses, to give the background and the origin stories of who you are and what you're about. So I think let's start with you, Daisuke. Tell us about the origins of Stella Works and what your unique selling points are.
Okay, thank you very much for inviting me for this event. So it's a great honor. So my name is Daisuke Hironaka. I'm a CEO of Stella Works. So Stella Works is a Japanese-owned furniture company based in Shanghai. And we have a mid-sized factory co-owned with the French manufacturer with about 120 workers and 80 office staff. So we also have sales offices in New York, London, Amsterdam, and Tokyo. So we run two main businesses: custom-made furniture and the Stella Works Furniture Collection, each accounting for about half of our business. So we focus on the hospitality industry. Our business model is unique because we can provide affordable custom-made furniture for hospitality projects while also offering our own original brand. Our production aims to achieve the finest furniture through a Japanese quality management system, French technology, and Chinese craftsmanship. So this is a brief introduction to Stella Works.
And Daisuke, from what I've known of the brand for many years, 2012, is that right, the brand was founded?
Yes, brand is started from 2012, yes.
And you hinted at it, but I think it is so significant. Japanese origin, but headquartered and made in Shanghai in China to this very, very high spec. And you brought in the historical French cabinet makers, Laval, to bring in some of that know-how of making, but training and using Chinese craftsmanship. And I think that made such an important statement to the design world that China does high quality at a time when there was a misconception that it only produced lower quality. So I think it's a significant message, but also a combination of three different cultures and methods of know-how. And here's some examples of the hospitality work you've done. And your business, as you said again, is twofold. You have a collection where you work with great designers globally, but you have the bespoke element where you make furniture specifically for particular projects and work with great design companies such as Conran and Partners, and Tina here. So, Tina, tell us about the rich history and the origin story of Conran and Partners, and of course your charismatic and hugely influential founder, Terence Conran.
Absolutely. So we're an architecture and design practice born in London about 40 years ago, founded by Sir Terence Conran, who was actually a furniture designer and fabric designer to start off with. So as a studio, I think we have very great empathy and understanding and respect for furniture design and for the detail and craftsmanship that goes into that. From that, we've gone on to design restaurants, of course, then hotels, residential, etc. But we come from that kind of foundation of kind of touching things, making things, and understanding how people utilize their space. About 7 years ago, we opened a studio in Hong Kong. We've always done a lot of work in Asia. That's kind of where our heart lies in many ways, starting off in Japan and then coming into Hong Kong and the kind of greater Far Eastern region, really, which I'm looking after, and I have a fantastic team in Hong Kong that supports me with that. But our studios very much work collaboratively. That's one of the themes today, of course, between London and Hong Kong, and we like the fact that we get the kind of the European design house with an Asian heart kind of vibe, and that means that we can address briefs in both continents, really, that we're operating in, very carefully and with a lot of thought and with a lot of understanding of how people want to kind of engage with their spaces and how they wish to live. So most of the projects that I'm sharing with you today are actually based here in Asia because we felt that that was most relevant. And all of them are of a scale that we can really kind of craft the environments and really kind of pay attention to how people engage with their spaces. And something that was said earlier by Ola actually really resonated, where he was talking about architecture actually ultimately creates spaces for people. And I think that is even more true for interior architecture that I mostly work in, but it really is about a people-centric experience. And of course, technology helps us getting there, but fundamentally, it's about what you see and what you touch.
It's about people, it's about the experience that people have and the huge influence that design and furniture in particular and environments has on you as a customer. These, we whizzed through some beautiful projects again. These last four are collaborations you have, Stellarworks and Tina have done together. There's 4 images here. And this is where I think is a moment where I think it would be useful to really explain how this relationship works and how this collaborative process works. A hotel project or a restaurant or a bar. What is the origin of that? Where's the procurement? Is it the owner of the place? Is it another department? Who starts first? Is it the designer that then approaches a manufacturer such as Stellarworks? Is it the other way around? Is it somewhere in between the two?
I mean, the ideal case scenario should be that the vision originates with the designer, and that we then collaborate closely with the people making it. So that would be the kind of the ideal story, if you like. But there is a dark horse called procurement in our industry that I think all of us as designers are very much familiar with. And the process is not often as linear as we would like it to be. And at times, we even get kind of slightly cut out of that, and something comes out on the other side that wasn't really what we were expecting. So the ideal route really is that there is a close collaboration between the people designing and the people making. And then, of course, also understanding what the financial aspects of that might be, because that's where procurement, of course, comes in, and that's where sometimes things can go slightly awry.
And elaborate on the issues with that. You have a vision. Maybe the person who's commissioned you has that vision, but then there's an intermediary that might cut this vision.
That's right. I mean, basically, I think every designer will understand what I'm talking about. We design something that, of course, needs to be built, and there's a cost attached to that. That at times is difficult for us to estimate because different countries do things differently. Procurement works differently. Some things are more expensive in some countries that are cheaper somewhere else. So it's a difficult one for us to fully gauge. Also, quite often, we're not necessarily being told what the budget of a project is. Which seems crazy, but it does happen more often than you think. So we are often in a situation where we are over budget, the dreaded VE that happens. And how do we make things happen according to our vision? That's where procurement comes in. Purchasing things, that's what procurement is, basically. And often that's done by agencies. Sometimes it's done by the clients in-house. But obviously, these are money people. And if you have money people that have an understanding of design, then you're good. If you have money people that don't, then you end up with something, well, this is a chair, what's the problem?
Yes.
When there's a big difference between this chair and how it's made and how it's crafted and how it will last.
And do you think we're still in a, Daisuke or Tina both, we're still in a period where there needs to be more education on the value of good design and the effects and the positive value that the good design has to prevent this potential problem of the person involved with procurement not really appreciating it and cutting costs?
I think the bigger project, so they are focusing only budget control. So of course, everybody wants to have a good quality of space and also furniture. But yeah, so because of the budget issue, so sometimes designer don't know. So who is a manufacturer? And there's a very small communication between manufacturer like us and then designer. But we believe, to have a better quality product, the communication is very much needed. So yeah, that's something we need to improve. So yeah, from now.
And it's not just aesthetics, of course. It's efficiency, longevity of the product. I mean, to me, that seems it would be an easier message to communicate. But again, there are different complications of.
I mean, projects are very complex, and the type of projects that we all kind of get involved in, hotels, for example, we said earlier, 5 years, 7 years until the hotel completes. So it's a very complex kind of product. And so, there are so many factors that come into that. And one of them is that often you have people investing in the hotel that maybe are not going to be staying involved for a very long time. So what that means is that there's the capital investment when you're building something, and there's the life cycle cost. And I think nowadays, particularly when you think about environmental concerns, we should be thinking about life cycle costs. So if you're spending a bit more money on good quality, furniture, flooring, whatever it might be, arguably it should last a lot longer, and so it's much better value for money, it's better for the environment, you don't have to replace it very quickly, all of these good things. But of course, if you have an investor who's mostly interested in producing the hotel, whatever it might be, the asset, and then selling it, they won't be so interested in the life cycle cost because that's someone else's concern. And I think what we need to do as an industry, talk a lot more about those different aspects and about the life cycle as well as the capex to make sure that we get true value for money in our projects.
And do you see that as well, Daisuke, this issue? You are producing furniture that has a long life cycle. That is core to what the brand is about. But you find issues where maybe people are not appreciating and maybe want quicker change.
Yeah, so if the owner or procurement company just pick up the cheapest manufacturer, so who has less experience about engineering, so maybe the owner need to pay a lot of money for maintenance, or maybe even they need to change 3 times in 10 years. So we need to think about the life, the long life of the product. So this is a good for benefit for the owner side also.
And of course, it reminds me, there's the thorny issue of cheap copies, which is an eternal issue with design. Again, is that how do you convince a client, a procurement department that stick to originality, invest in innovation? We need new things and better things. Tina, is that an issue you face?
I mean, we try and have the conversation with our clients right at the beginning. Are we buying furniture or are we making furniture? It's a very, very important conversation, and often that's avoided. So we try and understand that at the beginning. If we are specifying furniture, then the ranges, for example, you saw some of the projects there that were pieces of furniture that can be bought off the shelf. The joy for us as designers is it's done. It's a chair that's designed, it's comfortable, someone tested it, someone worked on it for years to get to that point. We don't need to worry about it. When it's something that's made bespoke, there's a lot to worry about because there's a huge process we need to go through to make sure that that particular chair is equally as good and equally as comfortable. And that's where, of course, manufacturers like Daisuke come in because they can help us as designers when we're busy doing everything else around it to actually focus in on that detail and making sure that the pieces that we design can actually be built, are affordable and are comfortable and all of those kind of things.
So this is where your relationship is key. The designer with the
Absolutely.
manufacturer, you have a concept, you have a vision, you know how things are made as well, but there's an expertise here with a company like Stellarworks and Daisuke to ensure that that new piece of furniture stands the test of time and is steady. Now, Daisuke, we are talking about the future, future tense, and prototyping the future, and AI, of course. Now, I know it's a difficult area in the creative industries, but for you, you are using AI workflows to help, particularly in this area, I think, where it's an engineering problems. Is that right?
So actually, to be honest, our industry is quite behind about this kind of, technology. But, me personally, I want to try to use AI for engineering parts. So, for instance, we have a lot of custom-made projects. Every single hotel project, there's a lot of 100 to 200 pieces of different type of furniture. But every furniture we design, we need to make a shop drawing in the first time for this only one chair or cabinet or something. So, but we have a lot of archives. We design a lot in the past. But if AI can use this kind of archive and study and then help to do the engineering, so that makes more helpful for designer also. And then for us, it's, so for the project, timeline is also one of the big issue. So if AI can help, so time will be more shortened. So
Give us an average timeline for
example,
a new hotel.
one hotel project, 200 pieces, to make a all shop drawing. Maybe it takes 1 month to maybe 45 days. But it's
That's
quite
fast.
long, very long time, actually.
Seems fast to me.
But if we use AI, maybe we can shorten this time. So
it's helping you, AI is helping you on those more practical behind the scenes ways.
Yeah.
In the design industry, there is an anxiety about AI, about, again, sophisticated copies, being able to design, but you have strong opinions on that, I think, too.
Well, I think it was actually said very eloquently this morning already, and people talked about, what AI can do for us and where humans are still very, very important. And I completely support that. I think there is something about the human touch and about understanding how we like to use our spaces, how we enjoy spaces, how we perceive spaces, that will always be there. But AI should be something that can assist us getting to that point quicker, because that's what we all need to do. There's a lot of kind of, pressure on fees, there's a lot of pressure on programs. So, that's where we as designers, where we like to procrastinate and think about things for a very long time and kind of get it just right, where we can get some help in doing things faster. And I'm talking probably more about the, not menial tasks, but the tasks that can, that take a long time, but don't necessarily need ultimate creativity, if that makes sense. Research is one of them, adjusting things, three-dimensionalizing things, looking at, pieces we're designing in 3 dimensions, quickly and fast. That's where we're really excited to kind of see
And
AI
presentations,
coming
I would imagine, where you are communicating a concept.
Absolutely. Even though, presentations in particular, I've found that if you can't present in person, you're already on the back foot, It's great doing things via VC, but there's nothing better than being in a room with people, seeing someone's face, seeing someone's reaction. They're starting to play on their phone, they're clearly bored. Yeah. You've got to move on. You can't see that on a VC. So I think that kind of human interaction, particularly in the design process, is really, really important. And that, of course, feeds also into working with, our various partners and our makers and furniture designers.
And looking to the future on a more practical level and avoiding not necessarily technology, plans for you two in the near future? Are you working on more projects? We see 4 beautiful ones there, but is there an expansion? Are you, after today, will you be knuckling down and thinking of projects for the future?
For me, so, as an Asian furniture manufacturer, so actually, let's say, in the World Hotel Project, around 80% furniture is coming from Asia to the hotel project in the world. And then within that, maybe
80% is being made in Asia.
in Asia.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, so I don't have a specific number, but I feel that around half or more than half is a copy, unfortunately.
Wow.
But if we we have attitude that we believe design is a value,
Yes.
so then a lot of manufacturers in China or Vietnam, if they realize designs are more important for their business, so I think this copy issue will be decreased in future. So this is something I want to contribute.
So is this your mission
Yeah,
to communicate,
so, yeah.
yes, the value of not only well-designed product, but very well-made product is good for business?
Yeah.
And I think that's a great message to end on. Thank you very much for sharing your insights on this beautiful world of hospitality and restaurants, bars, and hotels, and how you collaborate together to get the best results. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Tina and Daisuke.
Thank you.
Thank you.